Don't
Oh,
swear.
we're live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Cubist. My name is Bill Corey. I am The Cubist, and it is time for our Question Palooza episode. This is the brainchild of co-host Kimberly Revia. Hello, co-host Kimberly Revia.
Hello, regular host Bill.
I am also a co-host. We are all co-hosts because we are
Hello, co-host Bill.
See how that works? There you go. Very good. Now that the pronunciation of your last name has become a thing, like that got talked about, now I'm going to be even more nervous about it than usual. Will you say your last name out loud for all of us, please?
Revivia.
Revivia.
Did she just say Revivia?
You are stunningly bad at this already. Right, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
I had like 2 sips of my pumpkin martini.
All right. Kimberly Riviera, thank you for joining us. Mr. Patrick Hillier is here. Hello, Patrick.
Hey, welcome, or thanks for having me back. I'm trying to get the YouTube thing going here.
That's right. You get your YouTube thing going. We will just admire your do-rag and move on to Mr. Brandon Kemp. Hello, Brandon.
Hello, Bill. Hello, everybody else. Co-hosts. Tired.
Hey, how you doing?
This will go
How
well.
you doing?
Oh, boy. All right. So tonight is our Question Palooza. The idea behind this is that we are have questions that we're going to sort of ask each other and get each other's opinion on and hopefully get some jumping off points. This is sort of a catch-all. If you have questions for us and you are live in the chat, we would like to hear those as well. Feel free to ask the questions. Do me a favor. Put the word question in all caps before the actual question so it grabs our eyes in the chat. That way we make sure that we see it. Otherwise, I use the hashtag AskTheCubist on Twitter, and hopefully we'll get a few of those as well. But in the meanwhile, we will start off, as always, with what our first segment, which is the What Have We Been Playing Lately part. Kimberly, we're going to make you go first because we know that's your favorite, and because you put up a Twitter poll that got a lot of response for yours.
Oh, people have voted, and they voted pretty handily for Clans of Caledonia, though for a while it was a toss-up between Clans of Caledonia, 4X, and Tichu. They were all really close. But in the end, Clans of Caledonia won.
Mm-hmm.
So Clans of Caledonia is a 1 to 4 player game. I've now played it at 2 players and 4 players. Why is he evil smiling at me?
Who, me?
Designed by Juma Al-Juju. I swear to you, that's the best I can do pronunciation.
Wait, don't forget, we have an official mispronouncer on the show now.
That's right, Patrick. Here you go, my friend.
Patrick, as our official mispronouncer.
Bajuju. I don't know. I don't even know what game we're talking about. Clans of Caledonia.
Caledonia.
It's a Muse song.
No, that's Knights of Sidonia. That is definitely something else. But that's all right. All right. Anyway, 1 to 4 players. You played it at 2 and 4, right?
We did it 4 players.
Yeah, right. They're good.
And then at 2 players. No, I tried to move my keyboard and dropped
today.
it.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it to let me drink?
Not
man.
mine.
It's
nothing
your
to do
fault.
with that.
I learned it from watching you, Bill.
I learned it
Anyhow.
from you, Bill. I learned it from you.
Anyhow, Clans of Caledonia feels a little bit like Terra Mystica for those of you who have played it. It's not entirely. It says it's set in 19th century Scotland. I pay no attention to the theme, so that's good to know. You are producing things. Your turns are not limited per round. There are 5 rounds total, but you can take as many turns as you can. Basically, you'll run out of money or goods or something. You are fulfilling contracts. You are building an engine by placing sheep and cows and cheese factories, which then you have to feed milk, which you have to have cows placed for. This is a thing people have done wrong quite a bit. We've seen on Twitter. They're forgetting they have to actually build the engine to do the thing, not just build a building. Then you fulfill contracts, and then there's, much like Terra Mystica, there's a settlement bonus scoring at the end, and then a little bit like Marco Polo with a contract situation.
Okay.
And most contracts filled. It's enjoyable. It definitely feels familiar like Terra Mystica.
Does it do the whole when you take things off of your board, it reveals icons that then affect the rest of your play? It doesn't really do that.
No, you're not ever taking things off of a board. You're just adding them to. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
off of your player
personal
board.
It just shows you the money that you make per round.
Okay. So it's not really like it's showing
Like
icons.
the hands in Terra Mystica, right? Isn't the hands?
Yeah,
Yeah.
except for in Terra Mystica, each board is different. So if you take off, you might not get income off of everyone. Is this one where it's just like all of them are income and the board is just a reminder?
Just the people are income, actually.
Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. So it sounds like the flow of play sounds really similar to Terra Mystica, but the actual mechanics of how it works are not so much.
No, not as much. It definitely has a familiar tinge to it, like Terra Mystica, but it is a very different game.
Okay.
I saw somebody refer to it as Terra Mystica Light. I don't think that's quite as accurate as I thought it might be.
Gotcha. Okay. Very good. All right. I am excited because I actually have a copy of this coming to me at BGG. Paul Grogan was kind enough to get me an autographed copy at Essen that he's bringing to me.
That's right.
Yeah. So there will be a copy at BGG, which is probably going to be the first place I will get a chance to try it. So I might corner you and make you teach me. So there you go.
Don't give me alcohol first.
No, what? Don't give you alcohol
Don't
first?
give me alcohol.
I'm never going to give you alcohol. I learned better than that. So.
So has Jujubee signed it?
Juma al Juju is I think what it. Yeah, that's what it looks
What I
like.
just said.
Yes, apparently that is who signed it. Yes,
That is what I said.
that's
I pronounced it fairly well. Oh, I didn't say who it was published by. I believe it's Karma. No, it's not. Is it? Let me check.
Gen
again.
X, Karma, and Meeple.
Oh, it is Karma. Karma's who I was starting to say.
Okay.
I believe Matthew's copy says Karma Games. So
All right. Is on the Cubist scale. What do you think? Clans of Caledonia. Buy it, play it, forget it, or burn it.
I'm gonna rank it a play it.
Play it. Okay.
Play it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It isn't unique enough feeling to me that I would need to personally own it, but I enjoyed it.
Is that because Matt owns it already? So I feel like we always need to throw that caveat in.
No, I mean, I don't think that Matt necessarily would need to own it either. I also build that in.
Okay. Gotcha.
I prefer Terra Mystica slightly.
Okay. Oh, okay. Is this because this is too light or the theme isn't as whatever? Or
No, I just have a soft spot for Terra Mystica.
Yeah, I do as well. Actually, that's part of why I'm interested in this, because if it takes that similar feel and puts some new mechanics on it, I think that sounds kind of awesome. So buy it for you. All right, there you go.
I mean, I would hope it's a buy for him. He bought it.
Awesome. All right, I want to go to Patrick next.
Sure.
Because he's to the right of Kimberly, he's left to right on my little screen, and also because I know what he wants to talk about. Patrick.
Sure. I am talking about the Legends of Sleepy Hollow, which is a new Greater Than Games cooperative game out by Greater Than Games, and it's by Ben Pinchback and Matt Riddle. It is set in the Ichabod Crane, has disappeared, and the four characters are out looking to see what happened to them. So there's been a preview copy going around the Punchboard Media gang, and I got a hold of that just the other day. Played it some solo, figuring it out, and then played it this weekend with some friends. And first off, I wanted to say it's the most professional and well put together preview Kickstarter game that I've gotten as a reviewer ever. And really enjoyed just getting that, and then as a game, I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. It was well funded, and the pictures that they've been showing of the minis are just incredible. They went with some different artists this time. The sculpts are really cool looking. The art's really, really good.
Yeah, they went for a little bit of what looks like sort of a stylized Gothic art style.
Yes, yeah, and it is
which
kind
I
of
really
fitting
dig.
of that sort of Gothic, creepy theme. It's sort of kind of got a Halloween theme to it. So it's got 8 chapters in it right now. I think there may be more if a Kickstarter goes farther. And the idea of is the first chapter you play. You reveal some hidden secrets. I can't really talk about everything.
Spoilers for days. Okay.
Right, spoilers for days, but that reveals things in the story and then you move on to the next chapter. Your characters develop. You get some stuff that add to your characters. So it's an ongoing kind of a. It's not a legacy game per se.
Like campaign?
It's a campaign game, is the feel that I'm getting from it, from the one chapter of the 8 that we got to play. So
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Gotcha.
From playing the one that we got. So
Sure. How would you say, one of the things that I think I'm discovering is that it seems like the difficulty level of co-op games is sort of a part of the measuring stick for how people tend to like or dislike games, right? Like there are some people that want a game that is beatable, some people that want to be punished, and all points in between. Where do you think this one lands?
yeah, well, I played it wrong the first couple of times, and I did it, and I made it too hard.
Oh,
And then so I kept losing, and I contacted Chris, and we went back and forth on Twitter, and he's like, no, read the rules, because I'm really bad at reading rules. And once I played it right with the rules, and we did okay. So actually, it's kind of hard. I don't know if BJ's on the chat or not. I lost my chat window, but I know he's on it too. It's I'd say it's on the more difficult side.
okay. So maybe not ghost stories, but tougher. Okay, gotcha.
It's not nearly as hard as Ghost Stories, but it is on the harder side of it. And I don't remember, Eric Buscemi's not here, sent me some text about some optional rules to make it a little easier, where you can restart your characters rather than just losing if one of them passes out, as they call it, or whatever, and you have to get dragged off. So
Gotcha.
Come on.
Very good. All right. I gotta say, you posted something in the Punchboard Media Slack about having this preview copy that you could pass along to the next person. If no one has taken you up on it by BGG, bring it with you. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, we could play it, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll play it for sure there. And then we're going to be doing, I don't want to sneak in show notes stuff, but we're going to be doing various and sundry live streams from BGG over the span of the entire convention. And I'm bringing a tripod so that way we can do stuff like this as well. So if on the off chance you're still hanging on to it, bring it along, and maybe we'll do a playthrough with that preview copy at BGG and get a little extra press. So, all right. So this is a Kickstarter that is currently going, right?
Yeah, I was just going to look. It ends, I want to say, like the 8th. I mean, it's really soon.
Okay.
I think it's this week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? I thought it was the 14th or 15th.
Oh, no, what it is? No.
You know, if only we had some sort of World Wide Web that we could look at.
I have it up right now.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I have it. Where does it say?
This is proof positive, ladies and gentlemen. We definitely do all of our research before we go live.
It ends on the 10th.
Yeah, 3 days.
The reason I know it doesn't end, it does not end the 14th, because that's the same time as a Jack Vassal, and I have, I'm both pledging on the Monster Truck Mayhem.
Oh,
that's a
the
good one.
back game that failed.
Yeah.
And this are kind of both in, about the same thing. I want both.
yeah,
Gotcha.
I was like, well, which one am I going to get? So,
Gotcha.
yeah. I saw you bidding on Monster Truck Mayhem, and I almost did it, but I'll leave it alone.
Nice. All right. So I guess we'll do a back it, play it, forget it, or burn it. Maybe we'll sort of change it to that for current Kickstarters. What do you think for this one?
I'm looking to see how much. $69. If you like co-ops, I would definitely back it.
Okay.
Yeah, because for it's got a lot of content in it, with eight missions.
Miniature twos. No.
What?
Those were almost words. Miniatures too.
It is a very pretty game. I will say that
It's
for sure.
pretty.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Not just the art style, but the production. Even this is just a preview copy.
Mm-hmm.
That's awful pretty. There you go. All right, so back it for Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which will be online until Friday, as my calendar says.
Yep.
So there you go. Very cool. All right. I also ran a Twitter poll, and people asked me to talk about Ex Libris. This is the Renegade Game Studios new hotness, designed by Adam McIver. And he did do some of the art on this. I actually lied about this when I talked on the live stream last week, which, by the way, if you didn't get a chance to check it out, we live streamed the Extra Life Marathon last week, where all of you that want to see evidence of Kimberly swearing over and over and over again, you can very easily see on part 2 of that. There's about 2 hours of her just yelling words. So Ex Libris is a game all about building the best library in a fantasy town, and then shelving your books and alphabetizing them in such a way that your books are organized correctly, and you have built a very stable bookshelf. Because apparently all of the libraries in this town are exactly one wall big and have one big old shelf in them, and that's it. So I suppose that cuts down on space, but whatever. It is ostensibly a worker placement game that is all about getting cards and then putting them into your personal tableau, which is your shelf, is the idea. And then everybody has two, in a multiplayer, in a game of more than 2 players, everybody has 2 workers, and then a third worker that is unique to that player based on which thing you start with. So everybody has a starting a fancy meeple, and that meeple is unique, like it is a physically unique meeple. It's of a different color and a different shape depending on which player position you have. One of them is the gelatinous cube, which is literally just a gigantic plastic cube with a bubble in the middle of it. And then they all are different meeples that all do different things. We played this actually as the very first game of the Extra Life live stream. This was the 10 a.m. game that we played the very first thing. So if you want to see it in action, you can watch us by going back and checking out that video as well, because we have a full playthrough on there. I recognize that Adam, and so full disclosure, Adam McIver and J. Alex Kevern both kind of came up together in the same group and play tested games together, and definitely bounced ideas off of each other early on in both of their careers in the industry. And once you know that, this is going to feel like a J. Alex Kevern game, which makes sense because they have very similar design sensibilities. They both tend to like medium weight, very fast games, 45 minutes to an hour playtime on and off the table, with interesting decisions and a cool theme, but not necessarily particularly long or epic feels to them, right? Like you get your stuff done and then you determine a winner and you move on. This is definitely one of those games, and those games typically are not my jam. I tend to like heavier, longer things where I have time to build a strategy and have that strategy be fulfilled. This is not that game. It's a very tactical, theme heavy, but lots of, ooh, this is a thing I can do right now that will be awesome. Knowing that, I'm going to say that if you know what you're getting, this is a buy it. The production value is very high, except for the start player token is depressingly uninspired compared to everything else. So you have like 12 gorgeous custom meeples for the 12 different monsters you can start the game with. You have your groovy little gnomes. You've got this beautiful art all over the place. But the first player token is like a boring little plastic white bead. Like, what? That just seems like such a, why would you? Like, of all these other super deluxe-y, beautiful components, and then your first player token is literally like a 4-cent bead from the basket.
Looks like from Bazaar.
Yeah, from like Hobby Lobby or something. Like, well, there's a thing that I found on the ground. Sure, we need a first player token. That'll be it. That was just weird. Everything about it, I think, is really good. So yeah, I think it's a buy it as long as you want, as long as medium weight games like that are your jam. That's what I would say.
I heard some issues about being able to read the cards and stuff. Is that an
Okay, so the places where you are going to put your workers have to go out into the center of the table, and you have to be able to read them. And depending on how you're seated at the table, it could be harder to read for some people than others. We just didn't, we were all willing to, maybe we were just super energized because it was the first game of an event we were live streaming, and it was a 24-hour thing. It was a big deal. So nobody particularly complained about it, I guess. Nobody said, oh, that sucks. Everybody just kind of did it. So we didn't have any complaints in our play, but I could see where some folks, especially people that have mobility issues or bad lighting, I could see where it could be a problem. For us, it didn't seem to affect anything.
Yep. We just made a couple player aids to pass around that kind of have what the locations are and everything.
Yeah, and that's and yeah, with 2 minutes of downloading from BGG, you'll be able to get player aids that'll be just fine. So, and that will solve that entire issue because the artwork is all distinctive enough, and the title of each location card is very visible. So you can read that easily across the table, and then you could look at your little piece of paper and say, oh, that's what the Librarian's Lodge does, or whatever. I don't know. I literally just pulled that one out of thin air. I don't even know if that's a place, but there you go. All right. So that's it. For me, Ex Libris is a buy it, even though it's not my style of game, which is probably the highest praise I can give a game, really. Like, if it's already in my wheelhouse and I say buy it, that's easy, right? This is something that is not my wheelhouse and I still really liked. So there you go. All right. Brandon, real fast. Claim.
I'm not going to do claim.
Oh, changed. No,
Yep, I changed on you.
Show notes, you jerk.
I know you did.
We have show
I
notes?
wanted to talk about claim, but I think I'm going to talk about senators because I think more people are going to ultimately be able to see senators than they will claim. I don't know if White Goblin will ever get claim over here, or if anybody will ever pick it up, as it's just a 2-player trick-taking game.
Okay.
Senators is by Ricky Tata and his father Haig Tata, and it is from Lamam Games. You might know the name Tata from games like The Chameleon or Coup. This is a auction game where you are all trying to buy senators. Basically, it's set in the Republic of Rome, and you're trying to have the most influence and buy the most senators. The interesting part of that is how you do this to get the money. It's all done through an auction. And basically what there are 4 different stacks of goods. And on your turn, you can either auction goods off, and what you'll do is you'll flip a card over on all 4 of those. And then each person in turn order gets a chance to bid on all of those goods, with one person going, and then the next person could outbid them, and then so on down the line. But then if the auctioneer decides that they don't want to sell it, they could just buy it instead and give that money to the person who wanted to buy that good. So why are you buying the goods? The other option you can do on your turn is you are playing for sets. The goods are numbered, I think, like 1 through 9. I'm not sure. And there's different things like meat and wheat and things like that. And so when you lay them down, you're getting sets of the same number or the same, like a flush, or, I forget what the other one is, but it's 3 cards in a row there. And you'll sell that for a certain amount of money. And then with that money, you could use it to buy a senator, 10 coin, 10 lire, whatever it is, you get to buy a senator.
Okay.
The other thing you could do, which is the most fun, and we did not do it nearly enough, I don't think, is you can extort. So on your turn, you can decide that you want to extort items, because all these goods that you're collecting through the game are public knowledge. They're sit out in front of you. So you can extort them from one person. You get a choice. You can choose one from each player around. You say, I want this. You offer them a price. If they say no, they have to pay you that price, or you pay them to get the good. And so you're doing this just trying, and I just hit my microphone because I talk with my hands. So you're doing this to collect sets, which are going to score you points, which are going to get you money, which are going to allow you to buy senators, right? It's a fun little game that way. What makes the game kind of crappy is that there are random events that happen at the beginning of every round. And these random events could be anything from like the richest player getting more money and the poorest person getting nothing, or to just having a war where it outright just destroys some cards of yours that you've got out there.
Mm-hmm.
And being a random deck, it's nearly freaking impossible to plan for this when it happens. Right. So there are ways that you can protect cards. You can have a governor or something like that in your tableau that protects. But if you don't have it, you're screwed. You're going to lose something. And so that's the issue I have with senators. It feels like it really wanted to be a good game. I love the auction mechanic with it, and I love the extortion thing with it. But ultimately, the random events just kind of yucked my yums.
Oh, God. Don't start with that.
I really wanted to like it. Ricky Tata is one of those guys who makes game. Coup is just about the only social deduction kind of game that I will sit and play actively, and I enjoy it.
Well, and aside from Werewords, which you played 427 million times.
Well, that's true. I don't ever count that as a social deduction game.
Yeah, but it definitely is, because
it is. I just never saw it as that.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
And then the Chameleon, which we recently sat and played like a dozen times, in a row, and I ultimately never want to play that game again either. Anyway,
Gotcha.
but I really wanted to watch it. I actually put it on like my top 5 of things I was looking forward to from Essen. You know,
What player
and-
count did you play it at?
we played it at 4. It plays 3 to 5,
3 to
I
5.
believe.
Yeah, the BGG says it's best at 4. That's why I was asking.
Yeah. We will probably, hopefully, play it again this weekend. We've got a little event outside of Kansas City where we're going to be playing some new games. So I'm hoping to get that played again and just to double check. But I ultimately think the randomness kind of just ruins what could be a really good game.
So you are describing my one problem with High Frontier 3rd Edition and why you have stopped hearing me talk about it as much.
Yeah.
Is
We
that
have?
everything else about the game is great, but the random events make it frustrating as hell?
Yeah.
That's same issue that I have with High Frontier. I still like High Frontier and I still play it, but there are issues there. So, all right. So 4 senators, buy it, play it, forget it, or burn it.
I think if you like, I want to say forget it,
Okay.
but I don't want to
Then
say
say
that
forget
yet
it.
until I play it again.
Oh.
So I'm gonna, for me, it's gonna be a play it.
So
For everyone else, I'll tell you about it later.
okay. So, but your first impression is to
My
forget
first
it.
impression is to forget it.
Okay.
It feels like it needs a little more work, and I think if you did something with those random events and made them not so random, if you found some way to, have something happening at the beginning of the round that does things that everybody can plan for more better, I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Gotcha. Okay. No, I think as long as we are very vocal that things are our first impression, I have no problem. Like if it needs more plays or whatever, we've talked about this on the show before, that I am a firm believer that a game has to grab you in the first play or maybe first 2,
Yeah.
or I'm not going to sink tons of time into playing a game 8 times.
No.
You know,
Why would you play a thing that you know you're not enjoying?
right. Exactly. So if it's,
Not tie-dye.
for sure. All right. So that is senators.
Yeah.
And we didn't let Patrick mispronounce anything today. It makes me well, he sort of did.
We all
I'm-
took turns butchering my name. We're good.
That's true. Your last
That's
name
right,
is
Kimberly Riverdale.
yes.
Yes. Or Riverboat.
This
A
is gonna get better.
Riviera. A
This will get better
Riviera.
before it gets worse. I like it.
Definitely before it gets work. Yeah.
Yeah, shut up. All right, so it's time for our question palooza, jerkface. That is your idea.
Woo,
Yeah,
that's
you're-
my idea.
All right, so the whole original idea behind this was that every one of us was going to come up with a question to pose to the rest as sort of
Yes.
a jumping off point. But I also want to but I also want to definitely include the chat room because as we have been discovering lately, the chat room is just as much a part of the show as we are fairly often here. Well,
we
it's the
love you
truth.
people.
We do. So I tell you what,
We do.
I will start with the first question. We'll do one from us and then one from the chat room, one from us, one from the chat room, rinse and repeat. So message me in the Hangout chat if you want to go next for the question. Otherwise, I'll just randomly pick on somebody.
Holla.
So the question that I wanted to start with is this. We all know that there is a major sub-industry around extra stuff you can put in your games, right? So things like custom inserts and sleeves and deluxe
Bling it.
components and stuff like that.
Oh, Patrick.
What causes you to start thinking about that stuff? Like what are the things that that make you think, okay, I'm willing to spend more money on this game?
Mhm.
So I originally had to split up into when is sleeving
Should we just go
worth it and when are
alphabetically?
custom inserts worth it, but I think it's all sort of the same thing. What?
Just go
Well-
alphabetically so that we know which order to answer things in.
Sure. Or go for it, Kimberly. You go first. Go.
No, I'm not alphabetically first, am I? But
No.
When you start with
before
K,
Kimberly.
You're also you're talking, so I just figured we would just let you keep going. Just throwing that out there.
I know. Go, Brandon, go. Alphabetical.
Brandon, go.
What?
Fine.
When is it worth it, or when should we do things like this?
What makes you decide that you
Playing a game.
right?
what is one of the games that you blinged, and why did you start blinging it?
I have only,
The Colonist says a custom insert for Brandon.
I haven't bought it.
Oh, you didn't buy it? I thought you did.
No.
Oh, okay.
The only thing I've ever done it to is Gloomhaven, and that's just
that's
simply
fair.
because, setup's a pain in the butt, and plus I spent $120 on it. I may as well spend another $70 on it.
In per penny, in per pound.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Was it
Um,
really that?
Yeah.
So
I paid $100
I mean,
for my
the
copy.
insert. Was it
I
really
don't
good?
sleeve.
Oh yeah, $70.
I don't sleeve. I don't buy inserts. I have made a couple custom ones, for things like I have one for my copy of Seven Wonders just because I wanted to include all the expansions in the base box and things like that. But it's just not worth it. I'd rather buy a new game most of the time.
Gotcha. By the way, I just realized that technically I am first alphabetically if we're doing first names.
Yes, you are.
So I should have answered.
Yes, you are.
I should have
but
answered
you
mine.
asked the question. But you asked the question, so I didn't think you were going to answer your own question. I assumed we were
Okay.
asking the other members.
I feel like,
of the
you know what?
table.
We will answer our own question last. That'll be the way that we'll wrap up the question.
You want me to answer my own questions?
Kimberly, you.
Bill, okay. So I don't do that to any games. I don't sleeve things. I don't buy accessories. I don't buy inserts. I barely even buy games lately.
Well,
Just,
you have
the
a
only
Mac.
reason I would buy an insert would be to make a tedious setup quicker.
Okay.
I like Matt's got those condiment cups. Those are good.
Okay. But nothing, you've never done it yourself.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Patrick?
Mine is more so for a game that I truly love and that I've played a lot, and then I want to get better bits for, like Power Grid comes to mind, where I got the cards finally, and then I got the upgraded uranium pieces and those sorts of things. So, but it has to be a game that I've already played a lot, and I know I'm going to play more. And I think who said it Paul said it has to be one of my top games. So.
Okay. All right. For me, it comes down to three things. Number one, if the setup of the game is a pain in the butt, or if storage of the game is a debacle, like trying to figure out how to get it back into the box, then a custom insert, like for instance, Beast for Odin has a custom insert because trying to set that game up and get it back into the box and you're done is a pain. But Colonists is not a custom insert because I was able to find a storage solution reasonably cheaply that did the exact same thing. So for me, it's box storage is one thing. Setup is sort of part of the same thing. Secondly, poor component quality. I'm looking at you, Terraforming Mars. That game, as much as I like that game, I love that game. The player boards were almost entirely unusable straight out of the box. And the cards are low enough quality that I needed to sleeve them because they were getting banged up looking from just a couple of plays. So that game, but I like the game enough that it needed extra protection. And then sheer love of the game is the third one. And this is just a game that I am head over heels for. So like Power Grid for me I have not only Power Grid Deluxe, but I also bought the Stonemaier Deluxe bits, and put them in all of there just because I love that game so very much. And Eclipse, of course, without saying, we know that I've done that. So it's either sheer love of the game, I like the game, and the components are sub-quality, or storage is a pain in the butt. Storage/setup is a pain in the butt. Those are my three criteria. All right. First question that was in the chat room. And then, Patrick, you will be the next one after this. From Board Game Gumbo. Hi, BJ. He says, question, photosynthesis, front runner for Spiel des Jahres? I haven't played it, so I can't answer that one. I'm alphabetical, so I can't answer that one. I haven't played, but Brandon has. He has opinions.
He has opinions, and I don't know that BJ is going to like them. I don't think it gets in there.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think it's a good game. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't think that it's necessarily what's going to tickle their fancy. And he talked to Chris on Board Game Gumbo Live, a friend of mine, Chris Ray, who does a lot of the following of the Spiel des Jahres, and we've kind of been going back and forth on that too. We kind of think, like Majesty and Azul will probably be shoe-ins, as and then
For the nominations, you mean?
yeah, and then that third one's going to be kind of up in the air, and I think it's going to be something that we didn't catch, or maybe something that comes along late. I don't think photosynthesis is going to get in there.
Okay. Pat, Kimberly?
I've not played it. I can't really speak to it.
And Patrick?
Yeah, I agree with Brandon. I don't think so. I think it's a little heavier. It's a little weightier than most TJ nowadays.
It is, and I just don't overplays. It hasn't grown on me. It kind of, if anything, it's kind of loses a luster after a few plays. At least it has for me.
We're getting booed in the chat
Can
room.
we just
I wasn't watching the chat room. Sorry.
can we just focus on the fact that you inadvertently called him Blandon for a second, and I love that as a nickname. I'm just trying
Who called me Blandon?
I guess I did.
Well, I'll accept it.
Patrick called you
That's okay.
Landon.
Outstanding.
That's okay.
It's actually going to be your new name.
It's just as good as Miss Riverboat. So there, as far as nicknames go.
Yeah, we're doing all pronunciation today.
Okay.
Um,
So far.
There you go, Chris.
The show as at large seems 2 out of 4 say no. There's your answer.
I disagree with Brandon that I don't think the game. I think the game has some interesting techniques to try different things, but and it has replayability because it plays different at 2, 3, and 4. But still, I think it's actually heavier than it comes across. That's why I think it's not STG quality. I do agree that I don't know how long it's going to last.
Yeah, everybody tells you to play it with the optional rules as well. That just lengthens the game even longer.
Yeah, I don't want that.
And makes it drawn. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. And I don't know. I just don't think it's. I don't know. We'll see. I honestly, of the 2 games designed by that designer, I prefer Dragon Castle. So.
Gotcha.
That's the one you just talked about.
Yep. Well, I didn't talk about it this time. Yeah, but yeah.
But I mean, yeah, on write up or whatever. You were talking about.
I did. Yeah.
All right. So our general consensus from those of us that played it is no. All right, Patrick, you said you had a question. Go.
Sure. Well, we were talking
Patrick.
about Bling Out copies. I don't actually own it, but I went to my good buddy Bruce's birthday con, and Bruce has an incredible library. And one of the things that I always grab every year is his anniversary copy of Puerto Rico, the one I do not have. And we that was the first game I played, and I snapped a picture and took the picture. And of course, the obligatory brown colonist from
Colonists?
had to come out. And I didn't even notice that the first couple plays of the colonists. I now am aware of it. But it has not tainted that game for me because I still like the game.
Sure.
I'm perfectly aware of what they mean. So I guess that's the question that's out there. Does that, I mean, I'm aware of people who will refuse to play that game because of
Are we talking about this?
what they represent.
Is the question this specific game as in Puerto Rico? Or is
that
okay.
specific game.
Okay. So my answer is when I first got Puerto Rico, I created player packs. So when you played with 3 players, you would use this bag of stuff. With 4 players, you would add this bag of stuff. And with 5 players, you would add this bag of stuff. One of the things that is player count dependent is the number of colonists in the game.
Yeah.
And so I got different colored cubes and replaced the little brown colonists with colored cubes before my first ever play of owning the game. My copy always had colored cubes in it since the get-go. So I never once played with the little brown discs.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't know about the controversy anyway, so it never even entered into my brain that was a thing. Now I own a copy thanks to my friend Patrick Hillier, who sent me the extra copy he didn't need. Thank you, Patrick.
Oh, Patrick's a good dude.
He is a good dude. Also, he knows he'll get a big kiss from me in about a week and a half. So there's that.
Ooh. A week and a half? Are you going to some party after BGG?
No, it's during BGG.
It is 9 days from now.
Yeah, exactly. So,
For me.
it definitely did not bother me. Now, does it now? I don't know. I think that they should have just been more honest with what it was, or they should have made the piece. I think it was a poor choice, but I think it was a choice that was made pre-social media. So there wasn't a thing where you didn't have 100 voices immediately talking back to you saying, hey, that's a stupid idea, you know? And I think that we are viewing it through the lens of a world 20 years removed from when the game came out.
Yep.
So that's my opinion. Brandon?
Sorry, I was still thinking about photosynthesis.
Nice.
Sorry, Chris was actually texting me, arguing with me.
Oh, good.
I'm kind of shit. I'm like Kimberly. I don't. theme rarely shines through in a game, so I think I kind of tend to ignore things that maybe I shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So everything just kind of becomes mechanics, and I don't really pay attention to what is socially in the game. How about that?
Sure.
So Puerto Rico has never been an issue for me because of that.
I would like to add something to mine as well. I don't think, if I'm being 100% honest with myself, I don't think 20 years ago I knew that there was a thing to be offended about there. I legitimately don't think I was historically aware 20 years ago that I was like, oh, these were slaves.
Right, that's kind of what I was getting at.
I don't think I
it was
knew
supposed
that
to be.
slavery was an issue with regards to Puerto Rico when that game came out. I just literally think I was ignorant of that fact. I just want to throw that in there too. Sorry. Kimberly.
I don't personally, I haven't really played Puerto Rico much, so it just never has even occurred to me. I don't recall even making the, I didn't see it. So
Gotcha. Okay.
And I am young.
You are.
I should know better.
You are mostly young. You're in your 30s now. That's all right. That works.
I know. I'm medium old.
You're medium old. Exactly.
I'm medium old, guys.
All right. Patrick, did you answer your own question when you asked it? You sort of did.
I said I'm not. I understand the issue, but it does not offend me to the point that I can't play the game, and I am sensitive to the issue.
And there are other games that have come out more recently that have had a similar issue, right? Like Mombasa got some blowback. The Crusaders, Thy Will Be Done, got a lot of a big deal. Five Tribes, with its slaves that then suddenly turned into fakirs.
Yeah, I have the fakirs version. I had never seen the slaves until I played Matt's copy, and that's offensive. I agree.
Yeah. And then there are games that deal with sensitive things, but do it in a way that is educational. So like Freedom, the Underground Railroad and whatever. And what's funny is that in Freedom, the Underground Railroad, they are educating about the idea of slavery in the United States in the 19th century. And they still didn't make the slave cubes dark brown or black or whatever, like they went with a natural color. So like they even, they probably could have gotten a free pass on that. Right. And still chose not to. So that should tell you a lot about it right there. In as far as the lens we are looking at games, we can do better. But my point is, we 20 years, 15 years ago, weren't getting the feedback from all sides to point out where you could get better.
Direct and nearly instantaneous feedback now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Are you ready for the next in the chat question, kids?
Yes. Go.
This one is from Dean Brandt. What's your favorite part about participating in a live YouTube podcast?
Okay, so I've talked about this many times because the Cubist used to be a recorded audio podcast in its first incarnation, and then I switched it to a live YouTube show. For me, I get to talk with my friends, which is awesome. I don't have to edit, which is more awesome, because editing became the bane of my. Seriously, the amount of time that I was putting into editing and show prep to do a recorded podcast was so much added work and effort and time and just cognitive load that it was sucking the fun out of it for me. So I like the fact that we can just talk on a show and have a great time. And then I love the chat room. That's the other thing. I love you guys, and I love having real-time feedback from people that are watching and enjoying the show as they watch. I think those are the things for me. Brandon?
Bill pays me to be here.
Yes, I do. Actually, I do. I agree. I agree to go get him things at BGG every year.
Honestly, I just enjoy talking with everybody whenever I decide to open my mouth. That's basically about it.
There you go. Kimberly?
I always listen.
I like the random, spontaneous, weird bits like my F-bombing or Patrick's nudity.
She also likes the excuse to have an hour that she can play Onirim without anybody bugging her. I mean, what?
I don't remember at all. I just sometimes do it when you talk too much in the beginning.
Whatever. Love you too. Patrick?
That's great. I like the opportunity to wear silly hats and goofy clothes. No, I just, I love chatting about games. So that's about it. Just hanging out with my friends. That's all I like to do.
There you go.
Aw,
Kimberly or
love you
Brandon?
too.
Oh.
Kimberly or Brandon, do either one of you have a question? For the
I'll go
round?
with I'll go with a question. We don't do many burnets on this
Oh.
show, so let's just cut to it. What was your last burnet?
Munchkin.
Mhm.
I got
That was
stuck.
your last one?
Yeah, I haven't played a game that was a true burnet in a while. I got caught in a game of Munchkin. I like that for me, Munchkin is like a weather phenomena, right? Like sometimes you get caught in one because you don't get away fast enough, and somebody's like, you know, and now I'm stuck playing this game because you try to be a nice guy, right? And people want to play a game, and you want to encourage them and be like, "Yay, you're part of the hobby. That's great." And so somebody made me play a game of Munchkin that lasted 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Oh no, no.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the problem, is that Munchkin can very easily do that. It's not hard for that game to drag to redonkulous times.
No, thank you.
Yeah, so that's a burner. And I have been told, or it has been pointed out that there are people that are going to love that game. And I know, and just so we're clear, I feel like I shouldn't have to defend this because this should be super obvious, but I'm going to do it anyway. Just because I hate a game and think that it should be set on fire and used as starter fuel for a bonfire in your next yard party doesn't mean you aren't allowed to like it. Okay. You are allowed to like what you like, and I encourage you to do whatever it is that you dig. Doesn't mean I have to like it. And me saying I don't like something is not implying that you shouldn't like it either. Okay. You like what you like. Don't put too much weight in anything I say. This is just sort of general purpose everywhere, right? Like,
In general, should not
Yes.
listen to Bill.
yeah, well, I mean, that's wildly
The
untrue,
whole
but
reason
that's
that
fine.
he does the show and
Yeah. I mean, it's not like Kimberly, what's your last burn it, jerk?
Hangest, whatever. It's the worst piece of not a game.
Hangest. I feel like I need to try this now just to
Oh,
find out how
baby.
bad it is.
Oh, played at BGG. Matt and I played it at BGG last year and literally contemplated throwing it in the trash instead of taking it back to the library to
Wow.
spare other people.
Yikes.
Real bad. Mhm.
All right. Patrick, your last burn it.
I can't. Can I pass? Have we passed
No.
one yet?
Have you never had one in your life?
Well, I can think of some like mass market games.
Then do that.
know. I mean, there was this horrible Christmas Story game that I have that I want to throw away, and then there was this really bad game of like Isle of Trains. But the Isle of Trains isn't that bad of a game. It was just
I like
I want to say the people
Rick, that was just your drunken
drunken friends.
roar.
See, I really like Isle of Trains. I think it's actually
Right, exactly. I want to say it was the company, not the game.
Yeah, I think it was.
It
'Cause
was
it's,
probably the company.
Oh,
faux
Matt, don't
shizzle.
even talk about
like you so
bonkers. Don't
hard.
even be, don't
Oh,
even be
oh,
slamming my
Bon-
bonkers. game.
Bonkers. You know what? I'm Team Patrick or Team Bonkers on this one. Bonkers is a very
How do you-
cherished part of my childhood.
How
I think
do you
it's
sort-
generational.
How do you sort your geek by your collection by your ranking? Because that's what I'm looking for.
I don't know. Brandon, what was your
Matt's
last
like
burn it?
it's not his
I'm
fault.
hesitant to say mine because Paul's in the chat room.
Oh no!
Oh,
Oh no! Do it anyway. Paul
and
loves
also
us.
because I do need to play it again because we played it at 2 players and it was just trash.
Okay,
and-
but it
and-
was.
Do it anyhow.
It was the fast forward fear.
Oh,
it just
yeah.
it didn't. It wasn't a
Mm.
game at 2 players. I'm hesitant to burn it because it does need to be played with more players. But that was my last one that I thought, if this didn't exist, I probably wouldn't mind. Sorry, Paul.
Nice. That's all right.
Wow.
Paul likes us anyway.
Yeah.
And
I
Matt
do need to
thinks
try Flea in
I
the
love you,
other
Paul.
ones,
I love
and
you,
I
Paul.
am
I've
going to
not
try
played it.
Fear at more players. So
Matt says I need to be meaner. I don't even know how that. Everybody thinks I'm a damn curmudgeon now. I don't know how much
You
meaner I
are
can
a
get.
damn curmudgeon.
Shut up. All right, there we go. There. Am I
Love
meaner? How am I
you.
doing,
I
Matt? How am I doing? Shut up. All right.
So pretty.
Next chat room
Okay,
question.
all right, I
from
got
Paul.
one. I got one for you.
The next one was
We gotta
Paul's.
do-
Oh, you're
No,
gonna
I wanna
give the
finish
burn
my
game.
game.
Okay, go. Sorry.
Oh,
All
good.
right, I grew up loving Payday,
Okay.
and I found Big Payday in like Target or something, and it was like, why did they improve on this? It sucked. It was awful. It was just like, just give me the original, the one that I grew
Burn
up
it
on.
down,
Pay-
baby.
Payday's just gotten a reprint or something, right? That's
What?
seriously. I just saw something about this. This is getting redone.
But I loved Payday. It was like Payday's
I
like
did too.
bonkers. It was just like I don't know why I loved it as a kid, but I loved it as a kid. And it's like Restoration. You better not screw up those games, man, because we loved them as a kid. And
Is that Restoration that's doing Payday? Is that who?
no? I'm just commenting. I'm transitioning over to real board games.
Because I thought it was. I think I wasn't kidding. I saw something.
Like the fanboys of Fireball Island. I mean, that's not a great game, but there's a lot of nostalgia for that, and
Sure.
they better do it good, otherwise they'll hear about it.
For sure. All right. Since we have to suck up to Paul now, since Brandon hopelessly upset him, and by not upset him, I mean not at all, because Paul is smarter than that. Paul's question in the chat was, are you going to BGGCon or PAX Unplugged? And if so, which game must hit the table? Everybody in this show that isn't Brandon is going to BGG. So that's easy. Nobody on the show is going to PAX. Eric, part-time co-host Eric Buscemi. I think we're just going to start referring to him as the part-timer because he only shows up once in a while. Hi, Eric. He's going to PAX U, but he's the only one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's it. Okay. So, game that must hit the table. Okay. Aside from stuff that I have. Okay. So, I feel like talking about stuff that I have committed to playing is cheating. So I'm not going to do those, right? Because I've got an Eclipse game scheduled and I've got a High Frontier game scheduled and that kind of crap. So if we're not counting those, I think the game that I most want to play, and I'm not counting Clans of Caledonia because that copy is coming. If I don't count any of those, I think the game that must hit the table for me is Agra. I really want to experience Agra because it looks like the exact sort of game I'm probably going to love, but I need to play it to be sure because I have only done some sort of cursory research and so far so good. Brandon, you don't get to answer this question because you're not going to either one.
I'm going to play those kind of games before you all do.
That's fine.
At Essen West.
That's
Awesome.
fine.
That's true.
That's fine. You're the best, but it still doesn't
No.
count.
I was going to tell you to play Altiplano.
Altiplano is number like 3 on my list.
Did you guys see my funny tweet about that?
No, but I really want to play.
Alpaca.
Merlin is my number 2. Merlin's my number 2 because Felds are so hit and miss for me.
Yeah,
But I really want to play it in a place where I know I can just play it right without having to wait for somebody to
Purchase
get
it.
Yep, exactly.
It'll be like $8 on Amazon in 6 months.
That's a good point.
They are sticking to their guns. That
Well
this is not
played.
going retail after.
Mm.
This week.
That's what they're still sticking with.
All right.
Comes around.
Kimberly, what's
It's
your
a me, Mario. I'm terrible about this. I try not to plan on any of those things. I would like to play Fabulas, the Chris Bryan game
that's a good
with
one.
Chris. I asked him to bring it and teach me. And then also Sumo Jam. Nope, it's not called Sumo Jam. Damn it, Matthew. Jam Sumo. Something
The
like
dice
that.
flicking one with
Matt told me
the
about it.
holes in the corners.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. It sounds like a good 2 a.m. ridiculous. My brain
Did that
doesn't
ever
brain
get published,
anymore.
or is
game.
that still?
I don't know.
Because I kept seeing
were
that
asking the wrong
everywhere,
person.
or like at Gen Con and things like that. But yeah, that'd be a fun one.
Is even Matt gave me a quick description in the car the other day, and I was like, yes. So I'm in. Oh,
Gotcha.
Was that like the latest Clank game? Not a Clank. Boink or whatever those guys.
Bonk.
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 Bonk. The Clask. Bonk is not as good as Clask.
It is not. Don't play it at 2 players.
No, it's bad at 2 players. Don't do that. It's good at 4, but it's not good at 2.
Good drinky time fun.
All right. Kimberly, this is your idea, so you have to have at least one question.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't ever actually think of a
You
question.
never actually got around to that?
No, hold
Fine.
on. Let's ask the next.
I didn't
chat room
answer the
question.
BGG question.
Oh, you didn't answer the
Oh, I'm
BGG.
sorry, Patrick. I suck.
Quite
Go.
all right.
Bill's a bully.
Shut up.
Well, actually, I don't actually get excited about Essen stuff. So everyone probably knows what my favorite game is. that I bring
Terraforming
to every
Mars.
con. No, that's not
No.
my must play.
Okay.
It's the black box one. No.
Yep.
Yeah. It's the one. I know what it is.
Glory to Rome.
Glory to
Yeah.
Glory to
the
Rome.
All right.
Me and
Do you have-
Dan get our annual play-in every con.
Hey, do me a favor, Patrick. At BGG
somebody
this
else.
year, grab me and make me play it with you again. I played it like 2 or
Okay.
3 times. I've never played the black box version, and I don't think I loved it. But I want to play it again with people that do love it because maybe that'll help.
Well, probably not.
So.
But
I have a question.
Yeah,
I have a question.
All right, Kimberly,
yes.
I did a thing. I did brains.
go. You haven't done it yet.
I'm gonna shush.
Well, hurry up.
What is your favorite like classic game? Like crokinole, cribbage, solitaire,
Cribbage.
blackjack.
Cribbage.
Cribbage and Pinochle are a dead heat. It depends on whether I have 2 players or 4. If I have 4 Pinochle all day, I think Pinochle is the greatest traditional card game ever made. But Cribbage is a very close second and is better for 2 players. So there's that.
All right, I'm down.
Brandon?
Brandon
I'm
died.
thinking. I didn't die.
I love you.
It's my thinking face.
Okay.
Looks dead. We don't play a whole lot of them. I'll probably go with Crokinole, as that's the one that we always reach for, and it's not even that old. But
There you go.
or it is. I
Patrick?
guess I don't know how they credit it at.
Yeah, I have no idea. Patrick?
I seconded cribbage.
Cribbage.
I always carry with that with me.
Cribbage for
Kimberly,
me.
you have to answer your own question. Don't
Yeah,
forget.
cribbage. It's cribbage for me.
There you go.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yay!
From the chat,
76.
Ben, our sponsor level patron, by the way. Hi, Ben. Thank you. Says
Aw,
if
love
we
you,
each had a
Ben.
if we each had a DeLorean and we could go back in time to take credit as the designer of one game, what game would you pick? Backgammon, because it's the oldest game ever. Then that means that basically I'm immortal, and the only way you can kill me is by cutting off my head.
That makes no sense.
Why
You're
not?
just going back to take credit for it.
Right. I just want to be like, look, I've been around because backgammon goes back like 3,000 years or some nonsense like that, right? So therefore, if I would say I have been alive for 5,000 years, I should basically rule this joint.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with. I have no idea. I don't know. That's all I would have. There you go. Brandon?
Well, it's honestly got to be something like we can go, hipsterish and say it's Catan, and then I'm gonna make all that money and then not sell out to Asmodee and then do other
Oh,
things.
snap.
Or we could just go Monopoly just so I can make that Hasbro money or whatever it is now, USAopoly money.
Is it USAopoly?
I don't know who has Monopoly
Oh.
anymore.
It's still Hasbro.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
Hasbro,
That will be
yeah.
Hasbro until Hasbro no longer exists.
Deep.
So, all right, Kimberly?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go with Hang On Harvey.
What the hell is Hang On Harvey?
That's hilarious. I wonder if they have that in the BGG library.
I
I've
have it
never
right
actually
here.
played it.
Hold on.
I know, but I've
Pause.
never played it.
Oh, I will play it at BGG.
Now I want to try it. I have no idea what that is. Patrick, you pick one while she's going and getting
Oh,
props.
I'm going to go with Pandemic Legacy. It is the number
Yeah.
one game on
All right,
BGG.
that's fair. What the hell is Hang On Harvey? All right, hold on. I'm going to present to everyone so you can see this.
I've seen Drunk Hang On Harvey on video.
Oh yes, I remember Hang On Harvey.
What the hell does it
I was
do?
drunk when I did that.
You stick
like
the
Plinko.
things through- yeah, Plinko.
Okay.
Where you're trying to keep the dude from falling or something. Or you're
All
trying
right.
to make him fall.
You
right?
want him to fall, but he has to get half of his body down here.
Yeah, a
But if he
controlled
falls all the way
fall.
down, you have to reset again, and it's like a speed, spazzy, amazing thing.
Okay,
Hang on, Harvey.
we have to play this. I feel like every year we end up playing one really stupid game in the middle of the night. This is
Oh, I've played lots of really stupid games in the middle of
What was the one with the vertical board that we played last year where it was like,
Oh,
Nino and Tari.
Nino and Tari. That was a lot of fun.
yeah, there
Let's
you go.
still talk about that.
I just basically laughed through that.
There you go. That works. All right. I have one more that I wanted to say since we had a Burn It come up. So this is another one that I figured out ahead of time. What is a game that you found yourself falling in love with, but it took multiple plays? And then a game that you fell out of love with after multiple plays. So this is a two-parter, one that you only started like as you played it more, and one that you started to like as you played it, or as you started to dislike as you played it more. So Brandon. Technically, I'm supposed to answer my own question last.
Well, the most recent one, we can go with photosynthesis. I absolutely adored the game when I first started playing it.
Mm-hmm.
And as you play it more, or as I played it more, you kind of start to see that maybe the first player has this huge advantage of getting to the center and all these other things. And so it started to really bug me. So that's one that I've fallen out of love with.
Okay.
As for falling in love with after a lot of plays,
After multiple plays, it doesn't
geez,
necessarily
you
have
know
to be a lot.
me. How many games do I play more than twice?
Yeah. I hear you.
What are you giggling about?
All right, so we'll do the out of loves. We'll go around with the out of loves, so you have a minute to think about the in loves.
Yeah.
Kimberly?
Out of loves. Oh no, I had a thing.
I'm so lost you.
All right, we have to stop there. We'll get a copyright strike.
Mysterium.
Mysterium. You fell out of love with that one?
Yeah, the American
That's
version
fair.
broke it for me, and the cranky tall boyfriend.
All right, very good. Patrick, falling out of love with
Century. Man, I fell out of that.
Spice Road? Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that. All right, fall out of love. Puerto Rico.
Oh,
I loved Puerto Rico when it first came out, and then I played it way too much and got super burned out on it, which is actually why Patrick sent me a copy, because I kind of want to fall back in love with it, because I haven't played it in probably 5 years now, and I'm hoping that it'll come back. But that's the one that I can think of that I played so much that I started to dislike it because it felt too programmed for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, fell in love with after multiple plays. Brandon?
I
It's
am
not my
sleeping
fault.
now.
It's not my fault that we're alphabetical. I blame Kimberly.
yeah. baby.
Myrmis. That damn ant game.
Oh, the Ant game. I love that game.
What is it?
Mirmes. Mirmes.
Oh,
You know,
I
I
like
really
that.
did not
That's
like
cute.
it. And I still don't quite get it after playing it. Jesus, I was looking at it 15 times I played this damn game.
Uh-huh.
And I still don't quite get it, but I'm, a little more each time. I'm not the sharpest, thing in the tool shed.
Yeah.
But that's one I've actually really started, enjoyed more as it went.
Mm-hmm. I like that game a lot. That's one that has been sitting on my shelf in a place where I always make eye contact with it so long now that I keep just wanting to play it, but I think it plays best at 4, and so I'm waiting for a 4-player day. So, all right, Kimberly, fall in love with after multiple plays.
I don't know. I didn't think I would like the game, and it's my most played actual game on the table. So
What
Okay.
game?
The game.
the game, my dear, the mother effing game.
Can we just some open letter to all of the game publishers in the world? Somebody buy the rights to this damn thing, republish it with a different name. We don't, I seriously don't care if it's like called Piles of Poo, and it's I don't care what it is, as long as we can
I
tell
have
what
played that game, by the way.
Piles of Poo. There's a
Poo.
game called
Poo.
Oh,
Just
oh
Poo.
yeah, the monkey one. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it's stupid. All right, Patrick, game that you fell in love with after multiple plays.
Well, Cyclades. I didn't get it at first. Thought it was a war game. Thought it wasn't. Didn't realize what it was, and then fell in love with it once I figured out what it was.
Aww.
Okay,
Aw.
I've still never. I have never played either Cyclades nor Kemet.
They're not the same. They're two
Right, but
different animals.
they are in the same genre, right?
They're just the same publisher. They're not at all the same thing at all.
Okay. Well, I haven't played either one, so there's that. Let's see, a game that I fell in love with after multiple plays that I didn't like at first. This feels kind of dumb, but Love Letter. I didn't like Love Letter when I first played it. It felt really anticlimactic. And the more I get to play Love Letter, the more I enjoy the mini deduction side of it. And by the way, that reminds me, the Love Letter Deluxe that has like the 2 sets of rolls and whatever, so that you can swap things out, is on my short list of stuff I absolutely need to get, because I really like that game. And I think that is the perfect engage your brain for 20 minutes with a group game for me. Like, that is the thing that I grab if I've got 4.5 hours to kill. So that's it for me. All right. Favorite designer and publisher from Dean Brandt. We have to go pretty quick because we're running a little bit long, but I want to hit this one.
What?
Our favorite designer and publisher.
Yeah.
Okay, so favorite designer. I'm alphabetical, damn it. Favorite designer and publisher. Good. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna go with Vlaada Chvátil and Czech Games. I almost always like everything Czech Games does, and Vlaada has like 3 or 4 that have just completely knocked it out of the park for me.
I'm gonna tell other Paul that you said that, and he's gonna feel pretty.
Who's other Paul?
Grogan.
Oh, yeah.
Not in Cal. Other Paul.
Yes, I know. Paul is well aware of my love affair with Czech Games.
So
I really like. I think everything they do is solid, and I don't think I've ever. I don't think I've. I'm sorry. What?
Did you see my loving boyfriend's comment in the chat?
That Hang On Harvey is not in BGG storage.
No.
Oh, I don't know. Then I have no idea.
played
Don't worry
Cute
about it.
Paul.
Just go on.
Oh, the cute Paul. Got it. All right. Yeah, I have no idea. All right.
Yeah, fine.
All right. Very good. Brandon, favorite designer, favorite publisher.
Favorite designer. This is easy. I just put him on my Mount Games more. So it'd be Xavier George.
Yeah. See, and I have no idea.
I want everybody just to do this. Allow that to sink in for a little bit,
Okay.
and then look over Patrick
Okay,
Street,
okay.
like right up
Got it.
above there.
Okay.
Got it.
Geekopolis, Carson City, Troyes, Tournai,
Ooh, Twas really good.
Royal Palace.
That's good too.
Absolutely love Xavier George. Publisher wise, it's kind of a toss up. At this point, publishers come and go, and they don't come and go, but they get streaks, where they're just like everything from them is on, on the best thing ever. And Renegade Games has kind of been that way recently for me, until this recent, slew of announcements up until Altiplano. But
Oh.
well, Altiplano is a good thing. Everything up to that was kind of neat. So I'd probably go Renegade right now.
Okay.
I don't know, that's such a cop-out answer because they're
No, it's not.
so hot right now.
Just because they've been on the show twice and Sarah is a wonderful person that we want to make good friends with in the next week and a half doesn't have anything to do with it. Kimberly.
And they've got a new
That's
wonderful
me, Mario.
social media person.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Sorry.
I will go with publisher first. I like
She's texting
Stronghold,
Matt.
and not only because Paul. No, I'm not texting Matt. My phone's over there. I have a needle, and I'm playing with a needle because I dropped.
Oh, okay.
What publisher?
This is Stronghold.
There
and
we
not
go.
Just because we love and cow, and Capstone. Those I'm shush. I'm doing two. Oh, I also like What's Your Game quite a bit, but shh. I don't do well at picking favorites, guys. You love me.
Mhm.
Maybe Lacerda at the moment,
Okay.
but that'll change like in a week.
Yeah, I think
I don't do
Lacerda
favorites well, but I think Lacerda is really good.
Lacerda is probably top 5 for me.
Good.
Who did I put on my Mount Gamesmore? I don't remember. Patrick,
What
who's
the
your
hell is
designer
Mount
and publisher
Gamesmore?
before we get to
My designer is Katala, and I don't really have a publisher. I can't think of anyone that I just have to have their stuff. Maybe Renegade, but not even everything of theirs.
Yeah.
I don't know that I own anything by Renegade. Oh, Honshu.
So there was a time when there were certain publishers that you just knew everything they were going to put out was excellent, right? Like Rio Grande in the States for a long time in the early 2000s was the go-to. Everything Rio Grande touched turned to gold.
Does Rio
There-
Grande still do things?
Yes,
Yeah, but
they don't, not much.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
you know,
I'm not crazy. They haven't put out much, right?
They've trimmed down to, I think they still do Dominion, right? Isn't that technically still them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got a Fleeple game coming, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, what?
The Fleeples are good, guys. The
Yeah.
Fleeples.
Yeah.
And
We
they
got
had
Pinch
something.
back.
Did they not have anything at Essen? I thought they had something, but who knows?
they did. I forget what.
So the chat room, by the way, a lot of them are on my team with Vlaada. Thank you for that. Just throwing that out there. Carson City, I still have
Who said
never
Vlad
played.
wasn't good?
Huh?
Carson City is such
None
a
of us said
fun game.
Vlad wasn't any good, did we?
No, nobody
Oh.
did. I'm just excited that people are in the chat room.
By the way, your Mount Gamesmore
yes,
was
thank you.
Friedemann,
Okay, that makes sense.
Uwe,
Yeah.
Lada,
Uh huh.
and Ryan Laukett.
Lockett, yeah.
Oh, Bill is
Red
such
Raven.
a Lockett fanboy, and
Yeah, I do love Lockett. But here's the deal.
Lockett's like adorably 12, and Bill wanted to kidnap him last year.
All of Ryan Lockett's games, that I have played so far have been engaging and gorgeous, and I enjoy playing them. And all of them don't hit that sweet spot for me of just that perfection. Like all of them are on the, it's like if I was giving a 1 to 10, all of them are 8s. You know what I mean? Like they're all really good. None of them are perfect.
The Ancient World was kind of objectively bad.
The Ancient World is the closest one that maybe isn't an 8. That would be like a 6. It's still not a bad game. It is just it's a one path game.
And Islebound was.
Islebound is a really good straight up.
I'm yucking your yums. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't disagree with your assessments. My point is, Islebound doesn't feel like it fits in with the rest of his catalog because it isn't themed for days. It's a straight up Euro game with a fancy run.
Liked because it's that.
It's the least Lockett-y of the Lockett games that aren't Empires of the Void, right? But Above and Below, Near and Far, you know, those games all sort of feel the same. City of Iron is its own critter, sort of, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Lockett would be my 4th, just because I think he does something really unique in gaming that I really dig. So I stand by that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're long, and Kimberly hasn't been shouting at me yet, which is very exciting. So I want to get offline before she starts yelling. So a couple quick things. First off, if you missed the Extra Life charity stream, we streamed 24 hours of me playing games last week from Tuesday into Wednesday. Here's your friendly warning. Before you go watch the YouTubes of those, we did not make those clean. We try to make this show PG.
No, we didn't.
That's not a thing that happened in live stream. So if you watch with kids, don't. And I'm sorry, but especially section 2, where Kimberly is playing games, just throwing that out there.
Hey, who was dressed up as pumpkins?
My friend Logan. Yes, who wore a pumpkin suit for section 1. There is a guy with a full David S. Pumpkins.
Oh my God, he went full David S. Pumpkins.
Yes, that was pretty awesome.
It's beautiful. So yeah, there's a lot of really fun stuff. If you want to watch the live stream, there's 24 hours of us being stupid and ridiculous. It's a lot of fun. There's some depressing parts in section 3. I'll just warn you there, where I got really tired and there was nobody to play games with for a while, where I probably had my sad face on. So you can encourage me in the future. But we were able to raise $1,280 for Children's Hospital of Wisconsin over the span of that. So thank you, everybody that watched and donated and played games with me. Thank you. And even just random encouragements. Not everybody could participate, but at least sent a happy little note. I really appreciated all of it. If you want to support the show, if you want to support the Cubist, let's say you didn't get a chance to donate and you've got some money and you're like, you know what, I have too much money, I would like to put it somewhere else. Let me give you a couple suggestions. There's a Patreon page where you can support the Cubist directly, and there's also a merch page. You can find both of those things at the top of thecubistpodcast.com, and we would love it if you did. There are numbers that we have to compete with now, you guys. I see Patreon numbers elsewhere that I want to hit those numbers. Can we hit those numbers? I'm totally kidding. I don't care about the numbers. I would love it. I'd love to see the support though. All right, let's wrap this sucker up. Kimberly.
Wrap it, baby.
You and don't make it weird. You and what you do.
That's me, Mario.
That's the 4th time you've said that.
I have had a martini.
You have a catchphrase now. This is good. You're like The Rock, but smaller. Anyway.
You still love me. Yes. I'm at KJ Revia on Twitter, and I own the Granite Gumbo. Oh, no.
Granite Gumbo. There you go. Hi, BJ. Look, you got an inadvertent.
Summit. People should not. I will not be like this at the Granite Game Summit. But it is coming up in March, the 9th through the 11th. 2018. Yep, that's the year. And you can follow that at G2 Summit and stuff and such. And I'm also on the Instagrams.
Yes.
For Patrick. Both of those same things.
I am Patrick Hillier, the Over the Hillier gamer. You can reach me on Twitter at Over the Hillier.
Gangsta.
Find me over. Yeah, I'm Gangster Patrick.
Pop a cap in your ass if you don't follow him.
Oh my God.
Two swears
Really?
tonight. And you can find me over on What Did You Play This Week? Whenever I get around to editing the conversation thing.
There you go. Brandon,
Yeah.
you all right there, buddy?
Baby.
I'm awake again.
Oh, good.
Sorry, I had to hide my head for a second.
It's okay. I apologize. Did I shame everyone on the show? Are you
No.
all ashamed of me now?
No.
I mean,
You can find me all over the Twitters as BackupBCK. You can find me on the What Did You Play This Week podcast. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me in LinkedIn, although I haven't checked that in ages. So I don't know why you would ever find me there, but you can. You can basically just find me wherever you want to find me.
And just so we're clear, this coming Sunday is an on week for the show, right?
It
Or
is an
what's
on
this
week
week?
for the show.
Yeah.
So, Bill, I expect your stuff to be submitted by 6 p.m. on Sunday afternoon,
Yes, sir.
evening.
Yes, sir.
oh,
I have
And you too,
extra-
Patrick. Dang it.
I have extra time this week. So. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, you can follow the show at Cubist Podcast. You can follow me personally at Bill Corey Jr. Go to thecubistpodcast.com for all Cubisty stuff. We are a proud member of Punchboard Media, although I don't know if they're proud of us anymore. I don't know if I did something wrong, but well, whatever.
Where we all bring something to the table.
Yes, we do. So thank you
Yes,
to
we
Punchboard
do.
Media for all the things. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching, chatting. Chat room, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Nobody is in the chat room shouting at me, so that's exciting. We will be back. So we will be here. Quick programming note. Next week, we will have a show. It will be our 50th episode. So it'll be, we don't have a topic. It's just going to be a 50th thing. We're going to see if we can get,
episode. I mean,
I know. What? Wow. All right. So episode 50 is next. No, episode 50 is when we get back. My apologies.
okay,
Next week is the BGG preview show
that's what I
and
thought.
possibly PAX U if we end up with, if Eric comes on the show, we might talk about PAX U a little bit. But next week we will be all about BGG Con because, of course, 3/4 of the show is going. Brandon, we're going to make you be on anyway, even though you're not going.
And I'll tell you all about the games that you're going to play.
Exactly. That'll be great. So that'll be episode 49 is next week. My apologies. And then the week after, there will be no show. So 2 weeks from tonight, the 20th, there will be no show because that's a travel day for myself and basically everybody else is going to be tired. So we're just going to take a week off. And then the week after that, the 27th, will be episode 50. So we'll do something. We're going to try and do something fun for episode 50. I might run a contest or whatever. So I'll give you a hint. The strength of the contest that we're going to run for episode 50 will depend entirely on the subscriber count. Just throwing that out there. So tell all your friends to subscribe. And if we get past a certain threshold, you know what? Screw it. I'll just say it right now. If we get past 200, I will do a giveaway. If we get past 250, I'll do a bigger giveaway. So every 50 will add
Past
a little
200
more
what?
to it. Subscribers on the YouTube channel. So we're at 160 something right now. So
Yes, 165.
yep. So
looks like.
share the love. We need to get up to a certain subscriber count before we can do lots of fun stuff on YouTube. So share the love, tell all your friends. And in the meanwhile, we will catch you all next week. Everybody have a great week gaming and we'll catch you later. Be good.
Bye.
Bye.